How's it going, everybody? Coming to you today from the driveway because we're going to be installing the Tusk Tail Tidy kit on the Honda CRF300L. It's going to be a real quick, easy install, so stick around. Let's get it done. To start with, we're going to remove the bolts that hold the seat and the back of the fender. You'll need a 6mm hex for that, and you'll just unscrew these. Whenever you remove them, be aware of the fact that the factory washer, you will need to keep this, and on the back here you've got a set as well, and you'll want to keep the factory washer for it. You'll have this on each side. After you remove all 4 bolts, you're going to remove your seat by simply kind of lifting up and working backwards, and it will come off. Right here, you've got to get the tabs out. See, there's kind of a little tab here on each side to remove the top of the rear fender. And there's your rear fender. Once you removed your rear fender, that will gain you access to all of your electrical connections back here. You're going to pull this little cover off, and it's this one here on the very bottom. You can see where it's coming up through the bottom right there. That's going to be the one for the tail light. I'm sorry, for your tag light, not tail light. And you're just going to kind of push on it and unlock it. It's kind of hard to get it in camera, but there's a little tab right here. You just push down on it and this will slide apart. It's a little difficult to see it, but right here you've got a total of 3 5mm bolts, hex head. There's 2 right beside each other, and the third one I'll have to move you so you can see it. It is right here. Now once you remove this one, your tail light, or your tail assembly, will want to come down. And just like that, your big well tail is now removed. After you've removed your big tail, you've got 2 more bolts right here. They are a 5mm as well. You're going to remove them. When you remove these 2 here, that will allow you to gain access underneath here, and you'll be able to remove your light assembly and your cable here. Right here is the only semi-permanent modification you have to make to do this. Right here where the 2 wires come down and they're kind of heat shrink sealed, you're going to cut this plug off, and we're going to reuse this plug. Use your wire snips, remove your plug, and we are now done with all of the giant whale tail pieces. Next, you're going to take your license plate light, and you're going to take the washer that came with it, and you're going to feed the washer on your wires all the way down to the light. You're then going to take your wires and your light and your new tail, in which this is the way it goes when it's mounted on the bike. You're going to go one at a time with your connectors through the hole here on the back and pull your light up and through. Take the included nut, again go over one wire at a time, That way it'll fit around the connectors better. Bring your nut up and through, and you'll see there is the element for your light. You want it facing down to where your license plate will be, and you'll just take and slightly run it down hand tight. And now we're ready to get the light connected to your plug. After you have your light roughly mounted to the new tail, if you look, you can see where there's a couple of holes on this side. That is to zip tie your wires through. So you'll want to go through the hole that's on the same side as those two. So from the bottom up through the hole and over along the side to where you can zip tie through these holes. The kit comes with 2 included zip ties. So you will bring them up through and around. Don't tighten them down just all the way yet, but get them close. And it should look something similar to that. Tighten them just a hair more because I want the wires to stay right up there on top. There we go. Okay, so you want it to look something like that right there. And now we're going to come mount to the rear, feed the wires up through. We're going to put butt connectors on the end of this to connect to here, plug everything up, and we will be ready to wrap this up. Okay, you're going to take your new tail tidy, you're going to take your wires, run them up through this big center hole. You're going to use the hardware that was on your motorcycle already to go through these 2 bolt holes and to bolt here and here on the frame. You're going to use the supplied bolt to go through the front here. So this one is supplied to you by Tusk, Rocky Mountain. These are the ones that came on the motorcycle. So just feed your wires up and through. Make for sure you don't have your wires pinched anywhere. Take your factory hardware and come up underneath. And get them started. That's the 2 factory hardware bolts in the back. Again, making for sure you're not pinching your wires anywhere, so as you're tightening these down, make for sure your wires are not being pinched. And then use the supplied bolt in the kit for this one out here on the end. Okay, so here we are at the back of the bike. Your fender eliminator's pretty much in place. I can look and see I'm not pinching any wires. My wires come up through good. I've got movement. But if you look, light has this style of plug. The included connectors are like this, and they are no bueno together. They don't work. So you've got to figure out where you need your wire. You're going to have to cut this wire, and then you're going to have to strip these and connect here to here. So our next step is going to be cutting the wires. I'm going to cut mine a little bit long because I'd rather it be a little bit long and me kind of bend it and move it where I want it than to make it too short and it not work. So we're going to cut these wires, and then we're going to splice them into the plug in, make sure light works, and we should be good. Okay, so I ended up going a slightly different way than the directions call for, but you don't have to do it the way I did it. Instead of using the connectors that they send, that you put the wire in, crimp, heat shrink, instead of doing that, I went ahead and soldered mine and used heat shrink on it. So they're soldered and heat shrunk, stuck together, should be good to go, just as well as using these. If you want to use these, it's not difficult. Strip your wire, put one in, clamp, put the other one in, clamp, and you're good to go. So I slightly changed it up a little bit, but not a big deal. So now you'll take your big group of wires here and get all of your connections good and tucked away, and we can go ahead and put on our rear fender, our seat, and tighten everything up, and we'll be done. On your rear fender, there's little tabs right here that have to fit into this little hole right here. You can pop your side panels out just a little bit, line those up, and then pop your side panels back in. There we go. Rear fender's back on. Now for the seat. On your tank, there's a little notch here that has to fit in here. So make for sure that's in. Everything should drop down. You can now put in your bolts, tighten everything down. Take your hardware that you removed. Remember, the black ones go in the back, silver on the front. Once you tighten these down on all four sides, then go to the rear and up underneath, finish snugging up your tail tidy, and this job will be done. Factory hardware is a 5 underneath here, a 6 on the outside. This will cause you to add a 4 into the mix. So it's a 4 out here, a 5 up here, and a 6 on the outside. So we've got these all mounted up. We will cut our zip ties, mount our license plate, and we're done. It's a very simple job. It's not too difficult at all, and it's really going to change the looks of the bike. Let me bring you up and show you what it looks like. So there you have the install of the tail tidy, and as you can see, it is much shorter. It really improves the lines of the bike. It makes it look way better, I believe. And it gets that big tail hanging down off of there out of the way. Make it to where if you do by some chance crash or whatever, you're less likely to break stuff because it's not hanging down so far, and it just looks cool. I mean, there is the Tusk tail tidy install. Thank you for watching. As always, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the tail tidy on the Honda CRF300. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.